Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Leigh Bella Ralston. I'm also known as Mommy Leigh. A beautiful Wednesday afternoon to all of you. Would like to welcome everyone for another class here with Michael Stores and Faber-Castell USA. And I'm super duper excited. I know I always say this, but I am always excited. I'm always excited when you guys are here. So that makes it extra special. And if you're watching this on a replay on YouTube, I hope you'll be able to join us live next time. So howdy, Christy. Hi, Mary. Hi, Tina. Hello, everyone. All right. So today, I think we are going to be messy just because we're going to be playing with the Faber-Castell gelatos. When I'm working with the gelatos, this is the time when I just feel like a little kid because I can really get in there, get dirty. But this time the dirty is shimmery and sparkly. It's so pretty. So I don't really mind. So I'll be working with the colors metallic mint, pink sapphire, and then I have metallic blueberry. And actually, all these colors, these three colors that I have in here, these are the colors that are included in the Galaxy lettering kit, part of the Faber-Castell kit. And so if you don't have the same colors that I do now, it's okay. Whatever colors you have, maybe you have a different theme in mind, kind of like maybe more like a bright colors, maybe more summer colors or fall colors. So whatever color palette that you have, that's going to work. Now, if you're going to be using another type of medium, definitely the technique that we're going to be doing today is going to be different. So specifically, the techniques that I'll be teaching is going to be how I use the gelatos and how we're going to create the project using this medium. I'm also going to be working with and using some blending brushes. Now, when it comes to blending brushes, you don't really need the blending brushes if you don't have it. If you have a baby wipes, ta-da, we have a baby wipes in here. That's going to work. If you have a blending brush, much better. But again, if you don't have it, it's okay. I also have some fun metallic colors in here because basically what I have in my head is galaxy themed. Okay. And then I have the Pit Artist pen in white and also the creative marker white as snow. So we'll use either one of those. And then journal, we need a notebook. So, like when I said, this is back to school, but then again, it's really not just back to school, but I know welcome back to school, kids. If you're back in school, parents, teachers, educators, thank you so much for everything that you do. So I'm going to have my journal in here. I'm actually going to take my paper out um, like that. And then Faber-Castell, of course, generously provided us with some worksheets that you can use today. You can use your favorite, your initial. I'm going to use just L. In this sample photo, I have R because of rain, because that notebook is hers for school. So I put an R in there. But this time, I'm going to use letter L. Did I miss it? Of course I did. Letter L. Now, if you didn't print the worksheet, it's okay. So you can just letter the letter L however you want it. Maybe you want it like a bubble letter. That's okay too. Hello, Jennifer. Hi, Nicole. Hello, everyone. Okay, so my journal, my paper. If you don't have a graphite transfer sheet, you can use a graphite pencil. This is what I like to do also. And then you need a separate paper because what we're going to do is we're going to create a stencil basically. So this, if you printed the printout, you're going to do a little bit of cutting. So we need some scissors. So I'm going to choose my letter. Now, if you don't have the printout in a separate paper, cardstock, you might want to start doing your lettering, the letter, your initial. I'm just going to choose L. So for this project, I really need to cut it really close to the letter. So I'm going to cut it way over there. Okay. And then also we're going to need some washi tape or any not super tacky tape. So I love using washi tape because it's not super tacky. It doesn't hurt my paper. because we're going to tape it on our page, this letter L right here, to create a negative space. All right. Now, if you want to use just the letter L, stick it right there, maybe print it on a sticker paper, and then maybe just write on top of this one. Since we're using a gold metallic, maybe it's actually going to, we don't have to take this off, but I am going to. So I'm just cutting, making a mess. I've never been the best fuzzy cutter. It's like I always mess it up somehow. Right. Ooh, but there's something so relaxing about cutting papers. Okay, again, if you don't have the printable, the printout, you're going to have to letter into a separate piece of paper, and then you're going to cut your letter like this, what I'm doing right now. Now, for everyone who doesn't want to do the letter, we can still do the background together. And then we can just do some lettering on top of your background as well. Okay, so this is my piece of paper. Now I'm going to get the washi tape. All right. And anytime during the class, if you have any questions about the products I'm using today or why I cannot find the end of the washi tape, just let me know. Here we go. I found it. I am terrible at doing that. Here. So I'm just rolling it like that. Just like this. I love using the gelatos when it comes to doing mixed media projects like this or creating like pretty backgrounds in my journals. I'll show you some sample pages of what I created with some gelatos. Why can't we just do this really well? I think I cut it too long. Woo, Lord have mercy. I did it. If you also have like one of those tape runners that you can I'm having a lot of issues in here. I'm having lots of issues. Here we go. Now, when it comes to gelatos, gelatos are pigment sticks, creamy pigment sticks. I'm going to put it, and you can use it many different ways. There's many different applications that you can use the gelatos. You can use it just like a regular crayon. You know how you would just apply it directly onto the page or to the paper. You can also use some water because it is water soluble. So you can use a brush, and then pick it up, kind of like when you're doing watercoloring. You can definitely do that. Have a little bit of moisture in your finger, pick up the pigments and apply it with your fingers. You can also apply it directly and then smudge it with the fingers. So vice versa, that will work as well. I love using the gelatos with mixed media because even though it is water soluble, what happens is that once it is dry on the paper and blended, the gelatos will be waterproof. So I love it when I'm doing a little bit of layering, layer on top of another layer. The gelatos are amazing at that, especially when you don't want to touch the first layer or the colors of the first layer that you created. Gelatos are the best because if you're going to be using some acrylic paint, let's say, if you're doing a bit of mixed media, acrylic paint, when it's dry, it's waterproof also, but there's a tendency for it to be super thick. But with the gelatos, it's kind of like transparent. You can play around with the opacity. You can keep adding if you want more saturation, more concentrated color. Then you can just add another layer to really have that vibrant colors in there. Now, when it comes to gelatos, like what I said, I love using it as backgrounds. For example, with this one, I used some gelatos to create like an old vintage look in here. So I did a very light pale pink. So this is mixed media. So there's a lot going on in this page. Um, but there's the base color is when I use the gelato. So I use the peach and then I added like a vintage color in the corners to make it look shabby chic. So that's what I love most about the gelatos. All right, so I'm gonna set this on the side like this. And that I'm gonna have my one baby wipes. I want to show you first how you can use the gelatos, the application that you can use. Let me just zoom in real quick. Here we go. All right. So like what I said, just a regular crayon marker. What happens is that it's really, oh my gosh, it's so metallic sheen. So you can smudge it and blend it like that. I use a different color. You can layer, blend the colors to create like that purple. I'm going to add some blue on top of that. Then create your blending. Now you can also, I'm gonna put in the pink, add in the blue, right? And then I'm gonna use my blending brush. I'm just kind of like dab it in the baby wipes to get a little bit of that moisture. It's not wet, but there's just a little bit of that moisture. Hold this blending brushes. These blending brushes are available at Michael's. Comes in a set of 3. So there's like a mini one. And then this is the mini. I can't find my medium. And then you have a very large one for like larger area. Like that. This. Add some mint and blend it. Now, when it comes to blending with the baby wipes, I think this is my favorite method of blending is using some baby wipes. But you have to think about, you have to be mindful of the fact that when you're using a baby wipes, what happens is that you're actually picking up a little bit of that pigment from the page. So you're not getting the concentrated strength of the pigments because you're picking up some of that pigment. So what you need to do is if you want a little bit more concentration in there and more saturation, then you really want to add another layer on top of that, because what's going to happen is that when you're picking up some of those pigments with your baby wipes, it's going to be, the opacity is going to be a bit more translucent. So if you don't want that, and if you really want it to be really opaque, then you really want to just keep adding more layers. So I'm just going to wrap my pointer finger with my baby wipes like this. And the way I'm going to blend is I'm going to blend really lightly. Okay, so you don't have to smudge so much, just a little bit of pressure. Also, because I don't really want to pick up a lot of that pigments in there. I want to keep the pigments on the paper. So I'm just smudging. I feel like when using the baby wipes, I feel like I have better control, if that makes sense. So like that. And I'm going to show you in a little bit that we did pick up a little bit of that pigment right there. So we have a purple. It's so beautiful. mm. Don't eat it. You cannot eat your gelatos, but they look so pretty. Okay. So now we did a little bit of that. Do you have any questions about the gelatos before we start doing this? Now I want to create not just a pure background. I'm going to use our washi tape that we used earlier. Where is the washi tape? Washi tape, washi tape. Where are you? Oh, I dropped it. Okay. So we're going to add a little bit of a visual interest instead of just a pure um, gradient page in here. I'm going to use the washi tape, and then I'm just going to start creating some patterns. I'm going to create some crisscross patterns in here. And at the same time, it also helps to hold the paper in place. Hold this in place. It would actually much better. It would actually be better if you have like a different size of washi tape. There comes one like a really thin one also, and then some thick ones. Just I'm trying to play around here with my pattern like this, like that. Mm, okay, I'm not going to overthink it because I have the tendency to overthink everything. I don't like that. And just right after I said, I really don't. I can't visualize it. All right, Lay, just don't overthink it. Just put the tape in. Just put the tape. Please tell me I'm not the only one who likes to overthink things. I'm kind of feeling bad here. Come on, guys. Tell me. All right, I'm just gonna. I don't know. I'm not loving that one too. But you know what? We're just gonna stick with it. Okay. Yeah. Just gonna do that. I'm gonna add a little bit here. All right, Lay. Let's not overthink it. So what we're doing right now is we're creating negative space, kind of like with same with the letter L. That's going to be a negative space. Just be careful when you go around the letters. If you're doing letters, then you want to be careful with that. Let me zoom out so you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to adjust my paper here on top, right? Now, I'm using a very thin paper here with my letter. So I have to be careful around that to really create something good. I'm going to use the brush to go around my letter because this one's going to be much softer and I can create a much better smooth blending in there. So like what I did earlier, I just kind of dabbed the brush using the moisture of the baby wipes, and I'm just going to pick up those pigments and then spread it around. And then be careful of those little crumbs because gelatos are very pigmented. And so if you don't want it all over your desk, you might want to clean up right away if you see them, just to be careful. Now I'm going to go around the letter. And even when using my brush, I'm just going very gently. Okay. And here to avoid those little corners to warp and lift from the page, I'm just going like this. So I'm not trying to go against it. I'm just going around it and trying to not peel those little corners. So this is the metallic blueberry. It's so pretty. Areas like this, it's okay to be doing a circular motion, but like here, I can't because that piece is going to flip. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing well. Are your students back to school? This is my son's second week back in school. And then my youngest will be next week. All right, so I think I'm good there. Now I'm going to start adding a bit more color. I'm not really going to clean because these colors are curated to go really well together. So now this one is the mint, but I want the colors to be spread out. I have a little bit of that crumbs in there. Um, if you have a brush, a clean brush, or you can just blow it like me, like that. that works too. I know it's so shimmery. It's so nice. And the good part is if you blended it well, you don't have to worry about transfers. That's another question that I get a lot is that, does it transfer into the next page? No, it doesn't. I have so many pages where I have the gelatos. And as long as you blend it really well into the page, you don't have to worry about transfers. You're not going to have it. Yes, Mary, they're so pretty. If you're doing card making, or mixed media. It's so fun to create backgrounds with the gelatos because, like what I said, you can build it up. You can build up the colors. If you want more saturation, more opaque, then just layer it, layer and layer. It takes a little bit to build it up though, but I think it's worth it because I would rather, it's harder to erase, take out something from the page without ruining the whole project than to actually add more, so add slowly and just build up slowly. I like that better anyways.
And like when you're layering it, do you find like it has like a waxy like film on the paper, or does it leave like a
No, I actually never have that issue before. Um, if anything, the consistency is really creamy, like it actually glides, so never had that wax. The gelatos, I've tried other generic brands, and that's when I get that waxy and I understand what you're saying. So with the gelatos, I never have that problem, the waxy feeling. It's more really smooth, like butter. That's a song, but it really does feel like that. So again, what I'm doing here is I'm just building up the colors. If I want more intensity, then I just add a little bit more in there. So now I'm going to spread it out, add some here too. Also, when you're doing blending your gelatos, you feel like you're actually working out. You're kind of like working out your arms in here. So you get double. You get like workout and then you're creating. Hey, that's a winner. Winner, winner. Now I'm gonna damp again the blending brush here. Just a little bit. When you get a bit of that crumbs, what's going to happen is that it's going to create like sharp lines, you know um let's try it to see, okay, because I've tried that before, and what happens that when I blend it, because it's so concentrated, you have this piece of gelato, the pigment in there. When I tried blending it, it created some lines. So if you don't want to intentionally do that, if that's not part of your plan, then just try to vacuum it out, you know, the gelatos in there, the little tiny crumbs, or if you want to create intentionally those little tiny lines, um, then bonus, that's mixed media, more texture, right? But I don't really want to do that. I want to create a very smooth gradient here. So excuse me while I blow this out. All right. Then we'll add the pink. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. So of course, when that pink and the blue, you're going to create a little bit of purple hues in here, and it's so beautiful. I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the side and do my blending here so I don't get crumbs on my page anymore. Here we go. Add a little bit of pink in here. Now, the iridescent set of the gelatos are really meant for layering. So the pink one that we're using here, this is from the iridescent set. And what it is, it's a bit more translucent than the metallic, but it still has that sheen, that beautiful sheen, but it is less opaque. So this is really for layers. You can really build up your layers and your colors in here, and also for blending the colors. Oops, look at this. It's lifting up my letter L. So I'm going to hold it down. Make sure. It's so pretty. Now you can also do this on a canvas, you know, if you want a larger area, if you want to create like maybe a larger artwork, you can use the gelatos in a watercolor paper as well. You can use it on a canvas, you can use it on a fabric, a wood. You know, we have done many different projects using the gelatos, and it's just my favorite. It's so fun working with the gelatos. And honestly, when I first tried it, I'm like, when it was I first got it from the store, I'm like, what what are these? Are these tiny lip glosses or lipstick? And then you kind of get overwhelmed. How do you actually use this? You know, so you want to use it like a crayon because that's just what it looks like. So you thought that's just what it is. But the more I play with it, the more I'm like, oh my gosh, you can do this too. You can do this too. So it's just so much fun. Now, if you want a bit more saturated, maybe have more um opaqueness in here, you can apply the gelatos directly, but you might get some streaks. Okay. So if you want to avoid that marks, the streak marks, what it is that you can prep your paper first. It always, it's always encouraged to do that. For example, you're going to do a lot of layering and you don't really want to get some streaks of your marker of your gelatos, then you have to use some gesso first and apply it. But this one, as you've seen, I didn't use any prepping. It's just piece of paper in my journal. So there's not prepping in here, but you're going to see how smooth this is. Now, but if I apply it, we've seen it here, you kind of get a little bit of that streak. Does that make sense? So even when we blended it with the baby wipes, you get a little bit of that, but I think the baby wipes help a little bit with those streaks. But if you don't want any of those, use a blending brush. That is really the key if you want just very smooth gradient. All right, so we're almost done with this. And I think I'm happy with the colors. I don't want it too crazy, vibrant, saturated. This is perfect, soft gradient. This is what I want. Now we're going to see our crisscross that I was overthinking a little bit. Now, if you don't want to have like ruin your paper. For example, you're working with a project that's super important and you don't want to ruin it. If you have a heat gun, a blow dryer, even if you're using washi tape, because they are less tacky, but there's also the tendency to still, hurt your paper. So you want to use a heat gun. It always does help to kind of just apply some heat in there. And so the washi tape will be much easier to peel and it's not going to hurt your surface. So let's try that. I'm just going to peel on my paper. Just like a puzzle. All right. Okay. Oops. Now the cardstock below doesn't matter, but I don't want to do that with my paper. So oh, it's all right. I thought it was gonna be bad. I'm questioning this one here, the crisscross in the middle. I question it a little bit. Now that one doesn't really matter because we're gonna take the L also, the letter L. I wish I could do this more satisfying. That's what my daughter would say. Oh, it's so satisfying. And then we're going to peel this part, the letter L also. And then I want to use a metallic marker to go over and write the initial. Now you have the choice if you want to cover the whole area of your letter or you want to go create like a stroke outside that letter. Now, if you're going to do that, I would suggest probably using a metallic color that is very close to whatever colors you have in there. But then again, you can use purple. This one is date with violet. It's so pretty. Let's try and I want to show you. Look at that. Look, even with this, it's so pretty. So this one is date with violet, super pretty purple shimmery. This is Queen of the Marine. This one has like more silver. I'm gonna zoom in just so we can really see the colors. Super fun. Hi, Christy. I believe, yes, I do have 2 classes for September. We couldn't find it on the website. Um, so we're going to go sort that out. We have 2 classes. Actually, if you're going to join me on September 27th, you need to be there. I don't know what the class is yet, but that's going to be my birthday. So join me on September 27th. I am looking forward to that. I should have like balloons all over the background. There we go. What color do you think we should use? Oh, everything's so pretty. I have the gold. This one is so pretty. This one is the Queen of the Marine. We have some silver in here also. Oh, the silver is perfect to create like stars and asterisk. I think I like that. Then we have kind of like a gunmetal. Very nice too. Super gold. Ria, you're just like me. You cannot decide also. Gold, green, or blue? I don't know. Okay, I have to decide. Lay. Um, the teal looks really nice also. The purple one looks so nice, but I feel like this one just blends so much, the purple, although I love it. Look at my fingers, still purple. I love the purple. Um, this one doesn't have enough contrast. The blue will have the most contrast for sure, and the gunmetal. That one is the Queen of the Marine, and then no, ice blue. Nope, this is the ice blue. That's why do swatches. Important to do swatches of your markers. Okay, so this is the ice blue. Blue it is. We have blue. Okay. Now this one, I repeat, I cannot write a straight line to save my life. So I am going to grab a ruler. So just so it will stay pretty. And I'm going to grab a ruler. And I think I want to cover the whole letter. I don't know yet. And guys, the more I'm careful, the more I mess things up. I am not sure why that happens, but it does. It's like the more I'm like being mindful and slowing down and really paying attention. And I feel like the more I mess up. Now, another question that I get when it comes to gelatos is that can you use a marker on top of the gelatos? Yes, you can. But as long as you blended your gelatos enough. Now, what's going to happen is that if you have like thick, unblended, the concentrated pigment on the paper, what's going to happen is that it's going to cover the nib of your marker or your pen, whichever you're using. So the pigments are going to get in there, and then it's going to be hard to write. Of course, you can clean it up on another piece of paper, but yes, you can definitely use your marker on top of the gelatos. But as long as you blend your gelatos, okay, blend it well. There. I don't know. I'm loving this outside stroke of my letter also. This is so pretty. The colors are so pretty. I already messed up. I know it. This is a Faber-Castell. This is the Faber-Castell Metallics. It is so beautiful. You can actually use these markers if you do a lot of like upcycling, for example, in a glass, it will stay on the glass. You can also on rock paintings. I'm just gonna be careful here. This is a very good marker. All right. I kind of hold my breath when I'm doing that. Now, what you can do is that if you don't want to really cover up your letter with whole marker, if you feel like it's going to take a whole lot of time, what you can do also is that you can create a pattern inside the letter. You know, you can add like dots or like circles or dots, stars, you know, add some stars in there. But I think I want to really cover it up. So what I'm thinking, I wonder if we can create a gradient using two of the blues. Because this one has a really silver undertone because of the powder, the shimmery powder in there. I feel like, see, it's more silver. See that silver tone? So this one, you get a lot of that pigment of that blue, but the shimmer in this Queen of the Marine has like a very silver tone. So you think it's like a dark blue when you're applying it, but then really you get a lot of that silver pretty shimmer. It's so beautiful. Let me zoom it in so you can see. So pretty, so pretty. Um, so let's see. We're gonna cover it up with my ice blue first, carefully. Cover it up. This one has a 1.5 bullet tip. I wish that we will have a brush tip soon of our metallic markers. That would be really, really good because when I'm doing some coloring of a larger space in here, I can definitely cover a much larger area using the brush pen. And you guys know how much I love brush pens. We have some brand new products though that I am super excited to share and introduce with all of you. I think the last two classes of September, I will be sharing with you some brand new products from Faber-Castell that will be available at Michael's very soon also. So you'll get the first look. So make sure you don't miss our future classes. Great. Just trying to be careful around my straight line. So this one, this is the ice blue. It has this blue pigment and it also has blue shimmer. The Queen of the Marine, you have like a navy blue ink And then you get some silver shimmer with that. It's both are so pretty. But look how shimmery and metallic this is. It's so pretty. Like super metallic. You have like metallic background with a metallic like that. I'm gonna grab a gray marker or a purple one. So these are Faber-Castell Pit Artist pens. Now this one has a brush tip. I love. So what are we going to do with these two colors? You guessed that right. We're going to create some drop shadow. So to kind of like add some interest in here, I think I want to use the lilac color. This is Lilac 239. This is one of my favorite colors. I use this constantly. I also use it as a highlighter, the Pit Artist pens, because the Pit Artist pens are a water-based India ink. So you get a little bit of translucency, but what happens with the India ink is that it's kind of like the gelatos where you can really build up the intensity. So if you do a lot of blending, if you're going to use it for illustration, then it's so cool because it kind of you're kind of like working with a watercolor, so you have this first very translucent first layer. And then if you want to go on top of that, then you're adding more opacity and more saturation. When you build your layer. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to choose my drop shadow to the left side of my letter. So we're going to do that. I'm just going to go around it. So as you can see, Faber-Castell products were really intentionally meant to be layered and used together. So first we have the gelatos as our background, and then we use the metallic markers. Now we're using the Faber-Castell Pit Artist pens to add more colors in here. Add a little bit more. Like that. I'm going to add a little bit here because we have a stroke in here. So we're going to add to the left. And then you don't want to follow the same exact. I want to zoom this in so that you guys can see when you're doing your, sorry, I don't want you to be dizzy. Okay. So when you're doing your drop shadow, you're not doing it exactly where that where the letter ends, right? So you want to go a little below it. So I'm going to go over here and then kind of like that. So you go slanted a little bit. There we go. That's so pretty. Lid. Now I love these because it has a stopper, so it doesn't roll around my desk. I love that. Now we can add some silver. I think we're going to use some silver. I really love that teal. Now we can add some patterns in here. You can choose to add some stars. You can add some words. This actually turned out super beautiful. Now I'm going to add some tiny stars and dots. So I'm going to use the teal, which is the Fairy Forest. The name of the marker is called Fairy Forest. Right. I'm going to go over my teal area and I'm just making some imperfect dots. And I'm spreading it around. Just like that. Add a little bit more here, a little bit more there. Now, having a 1.5 bullet tip is really nice because you get a control, especially if you find using the brush pen a little tricky. It's always a personal choice. Now, I personally love brush pens, but sometimes when I use like a bullet tip, I'm like, I forget how easy it is to control. You get so much control using a fine 1.5 bullet tip like this. Add just a little bit in here. Now, when adding your patterns, you can actually do anything as you wish. You know, you can add some swirls in here, like maybe spiral. Um, Anything would work because you're adding texture. Now, if you're happy with just the gradient, you can totally skip the making the pattern and texture on your page. I love having textures on my page. So I'm going to keep adding them. As long as I don't clash too much. I think I'm going to add a lettering here with my name later to finish this off, but I'm just going to add some stars. Just, oh my goodness, so pretty. You can also add stars inside the letter, that's for sure. So pretty. Yeah, a little bit here. Is there really direction when it comes to stars? I'm like, I was going to say that you might want to make sure that you're like, there's a different direction, but is there really? I don't think so. And also spread it out. I think that's the key in here. I love Faber-Castell products when it comes to drying time. They dry so fast. So if you're a lefty, I think you're going to appreciate that. Add a little bit there. I think one more here. Now remember, when you're applying on top of the gelatos, what happens is that you have another surface, right? So you've already covered up the paper texture, the surface of that paper. So make sure to be keep that in mind when it comes to drying time, because I have a little bit of smudge in there, but you know what? Nothing that I am totally concerned about. Let me do this so we can fully appreciate the beautiful gradient in here. Now I'm gonna grab a Pit Artist pen in black or purple. We have purple violet in here, some stickers in there. Purple violet, both are brush pens. And then we have the black one. I think I want the black because I really want this to really pop. So I'm just going to add my name. And then if you need help with your brush lettering, we did like classes. The last two classes were all about brush lettering. So you can definitely check that out on Michael's YouTube channel. The replay is already available. All right. So here, I'm going to just take a little deep breath because I don't want to ruin it. Okay, here we go. Here goes nothing. And if anything, I think the gelatos does help when it comes to the smoothness of your paper. I could feel that my brush pen was gliding a bit more, which I actually really love. That was fun. So the brush pen was gliding a bit more because of the gelato. So that's so pretty. And that's it, really. I think I want to add a little bit more in here, maybe a star. But we're all done. Any questions that I can help you with before I leave you today? This was such a relaxing class. I truly enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. I think I want to add a bit more texture in here just to balance everything out on the page. that. So, so pretty. Thank you guys so much. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions when it comes to the gelatos or any of the products that I used today, we have a couple of minutes that we can answer that. Oh, thank you so much, Lana. Thank you guys so much. This was so relaxing. I think I needed this today just because my brain was like running an overdrive today since I woke up so early, but I'm like running overdrive. But yeah, this class, guys, I needed it. Thank you so much. That was such a that was such a relaxing class. So thank you, everyone. But
Do
as
you,
always,
do
we
you have
would love if you would follow us on social media at Faber-Castell USA, at Michael's stores as well. And I am on social media too at Mommy Lay. I hope to see you there. And I hope to see you next week. I hope that we'll be able to figure this class issue out. But if we have one class next week, which is bounds lettering. So this is going to be fun. So be there, please. I hope to see you. Same time, 5 o'clock Central Standard. Until next week, guys, stay creative and stay happy. Bless you all. Thank you, everyone.